The Arizona Coyotes fall 2-1 to the Vancouver Canucks, and it is 10:48 p.m., which means it's PHNX Coyotes After Dark. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a 5-star review. I'm Leah here with Craig. We got Petey from home as a little birthday treat.
Yeah, what a birthday Petey had today. Woo!
Oh boy.
We got
fun.
Just
we
relaxed
got
all day,
behind
put his
the
feet
mic.
up.
Yeah, classic Petey, just really making time for him. No work. It's fine.
Yeah, I got a flat tire on my birthday.
Oh, no.
Yeah, come on.
I feel like that deflating attitude is how I just feel right now about this.
Yeah.
Deflating attitude.
About
Look
this
at that. Look
three-game
what you
road
just
trip.
did.
Yeah. I will say this about this game. They lose it 2-1. And I thought they played hard, and I thought they had some offensive opportunities. What makes this trip unsuccessful is losing the game to Calgary. If they come out of this road trip 4 out of 6 points and you lose to the Vancouver Canucks, the best team in the league right now, by a goal, and you're scrapping at it with the goal he pulled, I'm okay with that. But now this trip leaves with a bad taste in your mouth because you end up with 2 losses to after you have that big win in Minnesota, and then you can't follow it up. So you leave disappointed on this trip.
You know what makes the road trip even worse? That 1-4 homestand. Because if you play 500 hockey on the road, normally you're okay. But now you're 5 points off the wildcard pace. It's growing.
I thought you were going to say clearing customs to fly back and land at 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah,
but,
and it hasn't stopped snowing the entire time in Vancouver.
Oh my God.
Whoops.
Yeah. Meanwhile, it's like 70 degrees here. Anyway, let's get into the game conversation. We'll start with the numbers because there's some very interesting ones here presented by Desert Financial Credit Union, Arizona's #1 credit union, named by Forbes. Let's take a look. Shots were pretty close. Canucks outshot the Coyotes 26-21. Coyotes were 0 for 2 on the power play. Canucks 1 for 5. Coyotes just couldn't stop taking penalties. Couldn't stop getting in scraps. We'll talk more about that. Just going to skip ahead to the shot attempts first. Vancouver had 51. The Coyotes had 39. So sometimes we just put face-off in here, but we don't really talk about it. But we're going to talk about it tonight because the face-off percentage, the Canucks, 72%. The Coyotes, 28%. Every time they won a face-off, we cheered in the office. Oh my God, they did it.
You want me to roll through them?
Yes, go for it.
Nick Bugstad went 8-22. He was the winner of tonight's face-off challenge for the Arizona Coyotes. The rest of the guys,
8-4-22, not 8 and 22. 8 wins.
8 for 22. Sorry, 8 for 22. He was the winner at 36%. Woo! Okay, so actually, Logan Cooley went 3 for 7. So, but that's not. He didn't qualify for the leaders.
Had to be more than 10.
Alex Kerfoot went 3 for 14. He's not a center, so I don't blame him so much. Jack
Won a big face-off
went 1 for 9, 11% in the face-off circle. This was a brutal night for the Coyotes. And, a lot of times I think face-offs are overrated. A lot of times they don't matter that much. They mattered in a lot of situations tonight, and the Coyotes just couldn't win any big face-offs tonight.
Yeah, and we talk about them on the special teams, especially how important they are to on the penalty kill to get the puck out of the zone. And in the power play, you can start with possession. And when your faceoffs are that bad, that's horrific. JT Miller won 17 of 19. I don't know if I've ever heard of a faceoff center. He had 89% in the faceoff circle. That's unbelievable. Yeah, it's unfortunate because I know it's not a stat that like to Craig's point that matters in a lot of games. It doesn't matter, but when you win 28, you're never starting with the puck. You never have the puck. And if you can get a few more offensive zone wins, then you could at least get more shot attempts. It just felt like they were just drowning in the defensive zone at times, and that was clearly one of the stats that did that.
Yeah, and in that first period too, like I know the shots ended up being pretty even, but the Coyotes were outshot 14-4 in the first period. They had nothing. They could generate absolutely nothing, and even the one goal that was scored was a fluke because the pass wasn't even intended for Dermott. He still gets it. Like it just felt like they couldn't generate anything. And then the only reason in that second period that they outshot the Canucks is because they were on the power play half of the period. I will say they gave it a good push in the third. I'll give them credit there, but that Vancouver's, they look good. Like that's a good team. That's a skilled team. It's a well-coached team. And you're right, Petey, like the fact that they only lost this game 2-1, that's an achievement, but it's not one that you can be satisfied with given the result of the game before. And I agree with you. Like if this was, huge win in Minnesota, even if
they go 3-2 on that homestand, we're not even talking about this.
Or
they're 1 point out of the playoffs.
Exactly, because they would have had 3 out of 6 points on this road trip, which is
good.
Yeah, but it's so like any other loss, because there's been so many losses, especially on that homestand, where we're thinking if this was just a 2-1 loss, if this was just a 3-2 loss, and here it is, and it's finally just a 2-1 loss. And it's like, you just keep thinking about what happened before.
Yeah.
Just sucks.
Edmonton won again. Nashville won.
Nashville won again.
You were working that game, weren't you? Yeah.
Yeah, I had 2 eyes working. He was
a busy guy tonight.
Busy guy. But what's impressed me the most about this Vancouver Canuck team is how deep they are. And Conor Garland said this when Craig and I talked to him the other day, is this is a team that can win 1-0 or they can win 7-6. Clearly, this was a game that's a 2-1 game. It was tight. Their goaltender needed to make big saves. I thought they defended extremely well, and they can play 4 lines. This is a good team. They're fast. They're heavy. They get to the net really well. And Conor Ingram, I thought, made some excellent saves.
Yeah, he was great.
And there were several moments that this could have got out of hand, and it didn't. But clearly, this Vancouver Canuck team is a better team, and that's I'm interested to see how they do in the playoffs because they haven't been there in a while. The Coyotes should be proud of their performance tonight. I thought there was an effort tonight, and one of the things we talked about when their losing streak happened here at home, when they were 1-4 on that homestand, I don't know if we saw the effort out of this team for those games, and definitely not for full 60 minutes. I thought they were much better tonight, even with the first period being outshot 14-4. It's in Vancouver. It's on the road. It's the end of the road trip. I was okay with that.
Yeah, no Nick Schmaltz.
Yeah, and no Nick Schmaltz, exactly. Yep. So, and what happens to Clayton Keller when Nick Schmaltz goes away? And then you look at what they had to do to their lines, and the lines were just an absolute mess right now.
Yeah, they were bizarre.
Yeah, it's tough, and then I think that had something to do with the the face-off numbers. It's you're throwing people where they're not accustomed to being.
Yep.
Yeah. One of the highlights, though, of the night was seeing Travis Dermott score his first goal of the season, and what a way to do it against his former team, the Vancouver Canucks. And, while Dermott didn't have his best all-around game on both sides of the puck, a first goal of the season is a worthy achievement in my mind, especially if it's the only goal of the game. Sorry, I don't mean to downplay this, but Travis Dermott, you've got that desert dog in you. 1 goal tonight for Travis Dermott in Vancouver, but that one probably felt pretty good for Travis Dermott, so we wanted to acknowledge that achievement.
Yeah, we'll just leave it at that.
You don't want to get into
I mean, he had some glaring defensive mistakes. He did not manage the puck well in the defensive zone tonight, but they didn't lead to goals at least, so he got that goal, and we'll give it up for him because, as you mentioned before we even went on the air, it was slim pickings for who we could have chosen. We could have chosen Travis or
Alex Kerfoot.
Alex Kerfoot, Conor Ingram too.
Connor Ingram was a worthy candidate.
He had a terrific game. Kerfoot, the face-off circle. He's not a center. He's not winning, but he logged a lot of ice time tonight, and he was pretty good in a lot of situations. He has been really good in a lot of situations, but whatever.
And we're giving flowers. What do you think of Logan Cooley tonight?
Yeah,
yes.
Liked him. I liked him.
Is this another one of those games? Is this just another one of those where it's almost Logan Cooley? It's almost Logan Cooley night. Like he had a play to his backhand. He almost slips it by the pad. Then he had another play late in the game. The net's virtually open on that little. I mean, he didn't have a clean look at it. He just slaps at it and just misses the net. But he's on the verge, and if he's
feels like it.
Yeah, and you're just waiting for that breakout moment. If he breaks out, they come out of this weekend with two more points because he wins in Calgary in a breakaway in overtime, and he gets the game tying goal and they go to overtime. Tonight, he's just getting so close. So I'm just waiting for the dam to break, and Cooley's going to come around. The other thing I thought of Logan Cooley's game tonight, not just the offensive side, but he played with that little FU. I remember that play in the third period. He back checks hard, and then he makes physical contact, puts the guy through the boards. I like to see him get engaged like that. I think he's going to be, the more he gets engaged like that, the better he is offensively. But you made it point, Craig, that pass. How many passes? Like how many bad passes in the defensive zone? How many turnovers again?
Yeah, Michael Kesselring. I had a rough night too.
Yeah, that was a horrific pass.
Yeah.
That
led to this.
Yeah, I think Kesselring was the pace tonight. It just felt like it was fast, man. That was a quick game, and I felt Kesselring and even Gunther at times. You felt that the pace was.
Glad you brought him up. Let's talk about Dylan Gunther too, because Matty and Tyson were talking about how much fun it was to watch that line, and Leah and I were saying it's been fun to watch Logan Cooley, but it was another meh game from Dylan Gunther. I didn't really notice him out there. Has the adrenaline worn off? I don't want to judge him on a handful of games the other way, but I didn't see much impact from Dylan Gunther once again tonight.
Well, you talked about when he was here that first couple of games, like the shot attempts he was getting on net, and he was around it all the time. He seemed to be quick. He seemed to be on pucks. Tonight he plays 17 minutes and he has 2 shots on goal, and that's not what he was doing early in the game. But this is a quick game. We talked about the pace of the Vancouver Canucks team, and I thought the pace that we saw from Dylan Gunther in the first 2 games, we didn't see in the last 2. And I don't know if the road trip or the amount of games is catching up on him, or it's just like you said, the adrenaline's wearing off. But I didn't notice him tonight, and you didn't see that big shot that you were hoping for and that you need to see from Dylan Gunther if he's going to remain here. And I wouldn't be surprised now. I mean, that's 2 games in a row where I didn't really feel that he is keeping the pace. And what really highlighted for me is in the third period, there was a rush up the ice, and Cooley was flying, and Cooley gets 10 or 12 feet ahead of Dylan Gunther, and you go, wait, that's where I really noticed the pace. And I think he's great in offensive zone starts. I think he's a really good player on the power play, and he's effective, his shot. But I don't know if he was noticeable tonight. I didn't see it.
Logan Cooley did score a goal tonight just with his hand. So,
I feel like we should talk about that.
Yeah, Craig and I have a stance.
I was a little annoyed because I felt like if the officials weren't so strict with the rules tonight, the Coyotes could have had a second goal from Logan Cooley. And
let them play.
Yeah, it's not soccer.
Let them use play. Their hands. Count it.
What's the problem? I don't
want a goal in? Count it.
Count it. I think they should do it based on who the player is.
Yeah, you do that too. Just complete bias.
For the game.
Yeah, it's Logan Cooley. Yeah, you get it. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, you get it. It's good for the game. Good for the game. Grow the game with these young kids. Logan Cooley, you got that desert dog in him.
We could name the goal just like the Michigan. We'd have to call it something.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to go ask the chat right now. What should we call the hand goal from Logan Cooley if it becomes a thing? Go ahead, weigh in.
It was just so funny to see his face right after. Like, he was just shaking, and then Bear was just shaking his head.
Andre was shaking his head a lot on the bench today.
He was. I have to say, Bear has some all-time facial expression reactions. We've been tweeting them a lot on our Twitter account at PHNX_Coyotes. But it's just, it's too good.
Yeah, they should have a cam on him the entire game now.
They should.
After seeing
a Bear ISO cam?
The cross-check that they called on Michael Carcone. If you watch the replay of it, you're just like,
well, his face.
When does the cross-check happen? Is it coming?
Is the cross-check in the room with us? Charles said the rule of Cooley, the serve, the high five goal. I like the high five goal.
That's good.
Oh my goodness. All right. Well, I do want to read a chat, Danielle, if you can just scroll up a slight bit from Scott. Says, listen every game from Arkansas. Wow. Love the Yotes. Thought they played incredibly competitive, tight checking game. Scott, we appreciate you tuning in from Arkansas. We're trying to cover all the states. We already have Alaska represented. I know someone's in Alabama, so now we have Arkansas.
It's later there, right, Craig?
Yeah. It's
I
late.
think so. Pretty sure it's later there.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know how that
here
works.
Too. It's late here too.
DJ Bean hasn't figured out time zones neither.
Yeah,
U-
they just say
US.
U.S. I love that.
U.S. time zone.
The hand-me-down. That's a good name.
Hand-me-down is
Bees.
really good. Yeah.
That's good.
All right, we've got some candidates.
These are good. Oh man. All right. Well, one of our diehards today officially joined Desert Financial Credit Union. Craig,
Is that true?
welcomed him to the Platinum Club.
Well, not yet. Whoa, slow down.
Was Craig there? Does Craig have an office there?
We won't discuss that, Petey.
Yeah, you do. You do. It's like Mr. Mooney at Lucille Ball's bank.
Anyway, all that to say, it's so easy to join Desert Financial Credit Union to sign up. And when you open a free checking account online, you get $200 in bonuses. Who doesn't love bonus money? I mean, I think we all would love an extra $200 right now. So be like Craig.
I get it every time I show up. They just hand it to me. Hand me bags of cash.
Open a free checking account online. Get $200 in bonuses, and you can get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200. Check it out.
And then, luckily tonight, if you take the Coyotes and +1.5, you would have been a big winner today because they kept it close tonight. And BetMGM has a great offer right now. You bet $5 and you get $158 instantly, and that's all for the Super Bowl. And we've already decided that's stupid to name the Super Bowl numbers by Roman numerals. We are not doing that on the PHNX Coyotes show. We will only use the number 58 for the Super Bowl. So make sure you download the BetMGM Sportsbook app, and it's so easy to use. Even Craig could do it, but he doesn't. But he could. Leah and I do it all the time, and I've been really successful with. I'm waiting for Schmaltz to come back, and then I'm going to do the Schmaltz Keller, the weenie bet on a Schmaltz anytime the day he gets back in the lineup. So if that happens on Saturday night against Nashville, we're going to go do that. Make sure you place a wager of $5 to get that $158 offer. Sign up at the BetMGM. Use bonus code PHNX. Place your first bet. Wager through BetMGM. You know how many times they wrote BetMGM Sportsbook in this ad, Leah? Have you read this goddamn thing?
Have I read it? Yeah, a couple times.
Place your first BetMGM Sportsbook wager through BetMGM Sportsbook mobile app. I'm sorry, BetMGM. I stumbled again.
What's the name of the company?
I think it's the BetMGM Sportsbook mobile application. For at least $5, you receive $158 instantly in additional winnings, regardless of your wager's outcome. Check out the show notes for details, and in a surprise, now listen to Damon talk about the disclaimer.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 Massachusetts. 21 plus to wager. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help Michigan. 1-800-981-0023 Puerto Rico in partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. Visit BetMGM.com for terms. This promotional offer is not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Okay, Borf, first of all, your profile picture and your name is just amazing. But Borf says, 1 a.m. in Ontario, Canada. Been a fan since I was born. Grew up in Flagstaff. That's
cool.
awesome.
Wow. What is this picture? I can't even tell.
What's a frog? It's a frog.
Yes.
Borf.
Borf is, I just want to say it.
A song, the sound a frog makes. Borf.
Borf.
Maybe.
This is what PHNX Coyotes After Dark is all about.
This is what it's devolved to. I'm just going to say that the rest of the show.
1 o'clock in the morning in Ontario.
I'm not going to say anything else.
Craig, doesn't that sound cold to you? 1 o'clock in the morning in Ontario. It just sounds
probably
cold.
is very cold.
Well, that sounds like 1 o'clock in Ontario is like, it has to be a Drake song. Like 1 a.m. in Ontario.
Yeah. It should be. Drop a beat.
Petey, name 3 numbers between 1 and 99. Go.
4, 72, 63.
That was probably a Coyotes line tonight because that is how Andre Tourigny was just throwing them out. Which is funny. Really you chose all numbers of Coyotes players. However, 2 of them are either injured or scratched. But that's neither here nor there. Cool. The lines tonight were... I mean, the lines going into the night were crazy. We got another 11-7. It would have been 12-6. We heard before the game that Nick Schmaltz was hour to hour.
Hour to hour. That's the first I've ever heard.
Yeah.
That's like trade-related reasons.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, that was good. I liked that.
Hour to hour.
Yeah, but ended up going 11-7. Josh Brown in the lineup once again. Can we talk about that? For those in the Discord, the under on Josh Brown's
hit on
minutes.
the under.
Hit
the under.
That should be a line on BetMGM, the over-under on Josh Brown minutes. But let's talk about the lineup a little bit. Please. Obviously, like Schmaltz being out, there's, you have to do what you have to do on the top line, like Michelli, McBain, Keller, whatever. Every single shift in the third period, it was a completely different line every single time. But Josh Brown, I mean, he sat out for like a month. He plays tonight. What did he? And what was his time on ice in the end tonight? It was
3:20.
3:20.
Can I just read, the 3 games since he returned after
Sure,
being out a
go
month?
for it.
He played in Minnesota. He played 5:58. So you're like, okay, almost 6 minutes there. He played 1:59 in Calgary and then 3:20 tonight. Why? What's the point, Petey? Help me out as a coach here. What's the point?
Under 2 minutes of ice time, I don't understand the point, unless the only thing is you got a guy on the bench that can fight just in case this.
That's the only thing I could think of too, right? Just a physical presence.
That direction, but the reality is, I didn't see the game going that way tonight. Other than we'll talk about Liam O'Brien in a minute, but I didn't. Again, if you're going to put him on the bench and put him in a sweater, I don't understand. I don't get it either. Like 3 minutes and 20 seconds. He played, it's 5 shifts, average 40 seconds shift. He's never out there. Like, I don't get it. And so now, if you're going to play 3 minutes and you're going to play 1:29, play Vejmelka?
That's
Yeah,
what is
going
what's
on
going on
there?
with Yusuf Vejmelka? I don't get it.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
Because is he in the doghouse or something? Is there some injury they're not talking about? Because he's a guy that played a lot of minutes before this, like a lot.
Yeah.
He was and for him to be out of the lineup for this long, and when he's in the lineup, you expect him to play. He's not playing 3 minutes. If Vejmelka's in the lineup, he's playing 14 to 16. So I don't get it. I don't understand what's going on and why he's been out of the lineup for so long. Because I almost feel bad for Josh Braun. You're gonna go through all of your routines and get you ready for the game, and you play 1:29.
Is that worse? Is that almost worse than being scratched?
It is.
It feels like it.
At least you get a hot dog and some Shea show up in the press box if you're not. I don't know.
With no ketchup, but
yeah. But I don't know. I don't understand the rationale. And I know they don't have an extra forward when Schmaltz is out of the lineup because Carcone went in, so you don't have an extra forward here. So I get it on the trip. But again, why not Vejmelka?
Yeah, and then what? And then you play JJ Mosier 24 minutes tonight.
Yeah.
So if you have Vejmelka, you could probably cut those minutes a little
some
bit.
Of that.
Yeah,
spell some of it.
I'm a little baffled. Going to have to find out about that one.
Yeah, there's something there because Mosier playing 24 minutes. Mosier's the guy. I mean, we know he's the top pair and he's out there all the time in great defensive zone situations. He can skate and keep up the pace of a game like this against Vancouver. But 24 minutes is a lot of minutes, man. And when they play, it's not like it's 24 hours. Basically, they play at 1:00 in the afternoon on Saturday. They won't land until, good Lord, what do we say, Craig?
3:30 in the morning.
Yeah, 3:30 in the morning. They're going to land and they got to play 1:00 the next day. And he played 24 minutes. So yeah, it's curious. I'm curious. I don't know. That's something a reporter should probably ask somebody.
Yeah.
If they ever practice again.
Yeah, there's that.
Yeah, well, they won't practice tomorrow, and they're not going to have a morning skate before the game on Saturday.
I don't know if they'll practice Sunday either, right? It's game for Leighton, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's talk about Liam O'Brien. Everyone in the Discord's favorite discussion. By the way, Travis Dermott, first intermission, says, he's an important guy to our team, despite what the people on their couch at home say. And
did he say
Travis Dermott, if you are in our Discord, please make yourself known. If you are a diehard, reading the comments of our Discord of people be kind of frustrated with Liam O'Brien, gets that 2-minute roughing penalty, even though he literally punched Lafferty while Lafferty's back was like there. That was really
Dropped
weird.
The gloves and...
He was already leading the league in penalty minutes. He becomes the first player of the season to cross triple digits with 100, and then just minutes later, 5 for fighting against Zadorov, who Zadorov is a beast, by the way, now has 105 penalty minutes on the season, which leads everybody in the National Hockey League, Liam O'Brien. I know a lot of people are a little bit frustrated with his play, but Petey, I'm not sure what your thoughts are on the trade-off there.
Well, yeah, I've always said this about Liam O'Brien. He's got to spend less time in the penalty box than he does minutes played in that game. And he had 7 minutes of penalties and he had 6 minutes of ice time. So that, in my book, that's not an effective game for Liam O'Brien. And here's the problem I have. The game needs to be self-policing. I've already said that. I believe in that. I believe in players sticking up for other players. But the Lafferty hit, if you can go back and after the hit, the first player to interact then after that is Lawson Crouse. Lawson Crouse is a big boy. Lawson Crouse he's 6'4". He doesn't need anybody to take care of him. Like Lawson Crouse, he's all right. Like don't worry about Lawson Crouse, especially with Sam Lafferty. Like Crouse is fine. So it started with Lafferty give a little push. I don't remember as Michelli or Cooley. Honestly, don't remember. I'm sorry. I should have these facts. But then Crouse gives Lafferty the push back. And honestly, those kind of little scrums happen so often by the players' benches when they're going for line changes. It's common that guys bump into each other. You've seen it with Craig's buddy Marchand all the time. They get in those little things right at the bench. I didn't think it was I didn't think it was a vicious hit that Lafferty put on. I didn't think it was egregious. I thought the cross check that Krause gave him, and I thought it was over and that was done, and it was good. And I think everybody was keep playing on. No penalties. Everybody got the message. We go. And then out of nowhere, here comes Liam O'Brien and just bananas on Lafferty. Lafferty keeps his gloves on, and he only takes a 2 minute. He could have taken more than the 2 minutes. So now you put your team. Did the protecting the teammate outweigh his time in the penalty box? And in that particular instance, I say no. I don't think it did. I don't think that anybody on the Coyotes bench is going, "Oh my gosh, we have to go get Lafferty." I don't think that. I didn't think it was egregious. So now you put yourself. You're in the penalty box again, and then now you got to stand up to Zadorov because now you knocked on the wrong door maybe, and Zadorov is a big guy. So again, it's talking about Liam O'Brien finding that balance and finding that. Don't turn the switch on all the time, man. You don't need to. I don't think he needed to intercede in that particular scrum at that time. I just didn't see that being that egregious of a hit at the player bench.
I just want to point out that Petey, you used the word intercede. So.
Did I use it properly, Craig?
Proud of you, buddy.
Like 1 year older, 1 year wiser.
There you go, man.
Look at him.
Did you think, Craig? Do you think that there's got to be the balance there? Like, I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
No, I didn't understand what he was doing tonight. I honestly didn't. And a lot of times I don't necessarily agree with the criticism of him. And I see some of the things that Andre talks about structurally where he's pretty sound. He's smart, a smart player. But tonight I didn't get it. I agree with you. I didn't think he needed to do some of the things that he did tonight. And yeah, you covered this in a walk and talking with him. It was a pretty honest interview. That was an interesting interview that people should go back and listen to. But as a coaching staff, when you have that, do you need to talk to him, I guess? Does Andre need to sit him down? Yeah.
You can't put it when you're fighting for a playoff spot, every point matters, and you can't sit in a penalty box. Yeah. And this Vancouver Canuck power play, it's really, really good. And don't give them better opportunities to put the best players on the ice again. Again, there are times you need to stick up for teammates. I completely understand that. And with players like Logan Cooley, Michelli, and Gunther on the ice, it's great to have a policeman out there. I just don't think this particular situation at that time of the game, but the game wasn't out of hand yet. And I just didn't see it. And he's got to find that medium because he's spending too much time in the penalty box, and these points are way too valuable right now.
Yep, absolutely. Well, we talked about the Nashville game on Saturday, but let's take a look at the rest of the upcoming schedule for the Coyotes. Nashville comes to town, Pittsburgh comes to town, and then it's that Eastern trip, Florida, Tampa, Carolina. Yikes! That game on Saturday is so important. A 1:00 game after coming home solely after a brutal road trip through the coldest cities, back home to 70 and sunny though. But
and again, the Sun Devils play at home, so I think that's why it's the afternoon game. But can't the NHL find another way? That's terrible scheduling. Coming through customs and a long flight, and that's just terrible scheduling. That shouldn't happen.
The only difference is Nashville just finished a game literally at the same exact time in LA. Granted, it's a 1 hour flight with no customs from LA.
Right, so, they're already here.
Yeah, they're in.
Yeah,
I just saw them going down the 10.
Yeah. So they'll be in bed long before the Coyotes probably clear customs. But it's a horrific game time, and I wish there was a way to get around that.
But when you look at that schedule, can we put that up again for a second, Danielle? Obviously, Nashville's still sitting in a playoff spot. They won again tonight. They're holding down the number one wild card, and they are 6 points ahead of the Coyotes now. You got to win that game. Pittsburgh is 6-2-2 in its last 10 and battling for a playoff spot. And then, boy, howdy, look at the end of this schedule before the All-Star break. They go through the Southeast to play the Florida Panthers, who we already see and were incredibly impressed with at Mullet Arena, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and the Carolina Hurricanes. That is a nasty finish, and it leads us right into we might as well talk about the standings right now, right? Because the Coyotes are 5 points back of the LA Kings, who for some reason can't win at home. They've lost.
Yeah, they can only win on the road.
13 of 20 games they've lost at home.
Whatever the opposite of mullet magic is.
But they're 5 points up on the Coyotes right now. it's getting to the dire situation here. And when you look at that schedule now and try and find points, we talked a lot. We talked at the beginning of the season. We talked at the midseason point about the goal of playing meaningful games, not necessarily making the playoffs, but being in competition for a postseason berth, well into the season. Listen, if this team falls like 8 points off the pace at the All-Star break, 8-9 points off, you're not playing meaningful games after the All-Star game. You can't, and I don't think just getting to the All-Star game and saying, "Oh, we were in it till the new year," that's half a season. I don't think they're accomplishing their goal at that point, honestly. If they fall 8 to 9 points off the pace at the All-Star break, they're falling short of their goal of playing competitive games.
Yeah, and it's something Buse just said. If they can play competitive like this against the league's best, can they get wins out of this? And I think they might be able to get a few wins. I do. I'm worried about that Eastern trip because that Florida-Tampa back-to-back, that's incredibly difficult. And Carolina is one of the best defending teams in the league that makes it difficult to get offensive opportunities, and the Coyotes are really struggling for offense. So Pittsburgh, they don't play well against, and Nashville right now, I mean, they played a great game tonight, and Nashville's a good hockey team, and I don't know how they're doing it. So here's the question: they got to get some points. They have to get points. First of all, you got to take care of business at the Mullet again because you didn't do it last time. 1 for 4, you have no choice. You have to get that win. You've got to beat Pittsburgh and you've got to beat Nashville. You need 2 wins before you hit this road trip. You got to get wins. Yep. And I think the Nashville one to me is the most important again because it's a team that you're competing with for those wild card spots. And I know Edmonton's still on fire and Kraken are on fire, and Calgary is now heated up at 9-2 in their last 11. But they're going to come back down to earth at some point. Maybe Edmonton won't, but I really believe
Edmonton might never lose again.
Yeah, Seattle already is. Again. They've lost 3 in a row now. So
yeah. So I think Seattle and Calgary are going to come back down to earth a little bit. The Arizona's shown all season they're streaky. They need to get on a winning streak and they need to get hot. And I think you got to get, first of all, it's got to start with Nick Schmaltz has to get back in the lineup because Keller, he needs them. I mean, that duo is, if you want to create offense for Clayton Keller, you need Nick Schmaltz on these. So they've got to find a way to get wins. But I have a question for Craig. Conor Ingram has lost 2 games in a row. I thought he played very well today. I thought he made some big saves against Calgary. Now you're coming home to play the Nashville Predators, a team that he was in their organization before he got picked up on waivers. Does he start his 3rd consecutive, or is this a chance to get Veggie in?
There's so much to think about here. You mentioned some of the angles. Again, talk about the travel. Talk about the load management. Is he going to get enough rest in 36 hours or whatever the hell it is before they have to play the Nashville Predators? Again, all of that has to come into play when you're making that decision. He's the better goaltender right now, and this is a must-win. So if you look at it simply through that lens, he needs to play, but that's not the only lens here. So this is a tough call.
It's a tough one too. Yeah, it is tough. And for the biggest reason you said there's the load management and flying and playing these last 2 games. And now he's not going to get a good rest. And the fear I always had in the coach's room, we talked about it a lot with this load management. You don't want to get him hurt. Yeah. Like that Nashville game is incredibly important. But if one of your 2 goalies goes down, man, there's just not enough time to recover. Yep. So I don't know. This one's tough for me. I was thinking before the show started, I was thinking you got to come back with Ingram. He was really good tonight. He's clearly your number 1 goalie. This is a must-win game. You got to come back with Ingram. But then I started thinking more about that time frame, and it's going to be. It's not as easy as just it's got to be him. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Vejmelka on Saturday afternoon at 1:00.
Nick said, I would stay with Ingram. He needs a win. And Florence said, I will lose my mind if Ingram doesn't play against the Preds.
We'll be checking on you, Florence.
Florence, may I offer you some OGs in that case? OGs, they have something for everybody, including vegan gummies now. If you're a vegan, Danielle sometimes eats vegan, mostly eats vegan. So there you go.
It's kind of come into play soon.
Wait a minute. I've heard some of the crap Danielle eats, and that's not like
salsa.
Mini chimneys.
Mini chimneys are not on the vegan menu.
Danielle's looking like I'm feeling accused right now.
You can continue talking about the OGs.
So I'm a vegetarian, but lactose intolerant.
So generally vegan.
Basically.
Okay.
Anywho,
let's get back to the OGs.
Yes, they got the vegan OGs. They have the big OGs. They have Sleep Edition. They have Happy Balance. They have Indica. They have Sativa. And they're all so delicious. They have the minis. everything. Anything you could ask for, OG's has. And like I mentioned, the most delicious flavors scratch made locally here in Arizona. So to learn more about OG's gummies and where you can find them, head on over to ogsbrands.com.
And then a big shout out to our salesman, Max. He has mission accomplished, buddy. He restocked the Circle K snack cart with my favorites, not Craig's favorites.
No, we only half accomplished. I got called into his office.
Yeah,
it wasn't pretty.
You were so rude. But the kettle cooked chips are back. And unfortunately, I didn't get to eat them today because I was not in the studio. But I will have the kettle cooked chips from Circle K. If you haven't had them, fantastic. Anything with the Circle K brand as a snack so far has been money. So you cannot go wrong at Circle K. And while you're at it, download the Circle K app and become a member of the Inner Circle. You get 25 cents off your first 5 fills, 3 cents thereafter. And I tell you what, we always talk about the deals you get in being part of the Inner Circle. They give free stuff away. Just give it to you. Just give it to you. So open the app every day. Make sure you're not missing something from the Inner Circle. Join the Inner Circle for free. Download the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for details. I will never get a job.
You sounded like Damon for a minute there. Yeah.
You almost had it.
I'll never get a job in media. I just can't read.
By the way, Circle K came in clutch for me last night when I had 3 miles left on my car before I ran out of gas.
You did it again? Did you do it again?
I did,
real?
but Petey, it's time.
Oh, look at this.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. As Craig likes to handle.
Happy birthday, dear Petey.
Happy birthday to you.
Thanks,
Buddy,
guys.
I have 6 candles on this cake, one to represent every decade of your life.
Can you see this? Can we take a picture?
You see this little guy here?
Yeah.
How about that, huh?
Where did that come from? Who made that?
Who do you think?
Who do you think made it?
Your wife.
You're exactly right. Yes.
I can't get it in focus.
Thanks, Tara.
And this is something, by the way.
But you'll take a picture, right, Leah?
We'll take a picture of it. And
That's
I
awesome.
basically told her last minute, hey, I probably need a cake to bring in for Petey, who is not going to be there, but we'd really like to have a cake for him anyway, and basically eat it in front of him.
But this is literally my birthday. This is the perfect end
This
to
is
my
it.
perfect birthday
We'll spin
day.
it back
This
so
is
you
it.
can see it.
This is the because my wife works all day. I worked all night, so we really haven't had a time to celebrate my birthday at all. So we had no dinner. So I had a peanut butter sandwich for my birthday dinner. Yay me, because I had no time to cook. So we had that, and I had a flat tire, so I didn't have a car all day because I had a flat tire. So I had to sit at home all day while she worked, and so that stunk. And now I got a beautiful birthday cake that I can't eat.
Yeah,
Can I point out a couple things about this?
Well, we're about to show a photo in a second. So
okay. Look at that.
Well, nobody can see it yet, Craig.
Look at that. No, I can see it.
Sarah, thank you
It's
very
coming.
much. I appreciate it.
Look at that. That's
I
nice.
do appreciate it.
Danielle's
Oh
gonna
my
throw this
God.
up on the screen, and then you'll get to appreciate a few of the details
Oh,
here.
look at that. That's super cool.
What are the colors, Petey?
Yeah, they're green and white. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
North
Little
Dakota.
fighting suit.
That's
I love
right.
it. Tara did that. That's really, really nice.
I'd like to also point out that this is a vegan cake because you're a health freak, so we had to make you a vegan cake.
I got
The problem is the frosting is not vegan. The frosting has some butter in it, so unfortunately,
So what kind of
Danielle
what cake
cannot
is
eat it.
Is it a white cake?
It's the opposite of a white cake. Actually,
Chocolate
it's a dark cake. It's a chocolate cake.
Chocolate
Yeah,
cake. Well, I can't
but a
tell.
vegan cake, so no egg.
Can
It's just-
we save it for tomorrow? I'll be in the studio tomorrow.
I suppose we could.
can I
We
have a
probably
piece
have to hide it
tonight?
because
You guys can have a piece tonight. Can you
probably
save
have
me
to
a piece
hide it
tomorrow?
because you know how this
Oh,
place
God.
works. I mean, it'll be
Yeah,
gone
Mac.
when we get here.
When Mac gets to the studio around noon tomorrow, it'll be gone. If you know,
Take-
you know.
Yeah,
Should we blow out the candles?
I think we should.
Yeah, you
Petey,
better blow up the candles.
You need to
Petey,
make
you-
a wish in
You
your
need to make a
head.
wish and blow with us.
Okay, ready?
Okay.
One,
1, 2, 3.
3.
Look
The
at
smoke
that.
detectors are gonna
Good
go
setup,
off.
yeah.
Oh.
Thank you guys. I
Okay.
really
Yeah,
appreciate that.
that'd be
Tara,
a hell
that's
of a show. If
phenomenal.
we did that. If the
That
sprinklers
actually
were
ended
off.
my that's perfect. Thank you so much. Ended my birthday on a really good note. I was hoping a lot of people in Discord were hoping, wishing me birthday wishes, and then hoping for a Coyotes win to cap that off. And so they didn't get that. So this does it. Thank you so much for both of you.
Everybody thinks you're 60 now, by the way. so
He's
it's-
not 60.
I'm
He's not 60.
He's close.
It just
He's really
might
close.
look
He's creeping up on 60.
I
Petey-
might look at it, but I'm not. So-
Coyotes didn't win, but I can offer you
Oh.
something. the Tucson Roadrunners are in first place in the Pacific Division in the AHL, third place in the entire league, first place in the Western Conference of the AHL. I mean, look at the Roadrunners go.
And no Dylan Guenther, no Michael Kessering, no Vlad Kolyachonok. No problem. No problem.
Yeah, no problem.
Still in first place.
When you talk to Steve Potvin, it's whoever we got, we're going to play, and we're going to teach him the right way. And I know it's a week old now, but that interview with Steve Potvin just inspired me. Like, he is such a thoughtful coach. Like, his questions to all of that, and he gets it. And he gets what his job is to do down there, develop these guys. And Conor Garland brought up the same guys. Like, he brought up Potvin and John Slaney and the job they do down there in Tucson. I think this is a huge, important step, and I don't want to miss out on this. This is important for the Arizona Coyotes to have a team in their minor league, in the American League, that's winning. And this is incredibly important for the future of this team. And I don't want to understate this. Them getting into the playoffs and being towards the top of the standings in the Pacific and playing meaningful playoff games, and who knows how far playoffs are going to go for them. That is so important for the development of this franchise and what the future holds for them, because we've talked about Tampa Bay went through and won in the American League first before winning a Stanley Cup. It's great when you have guys winning together. And I would think by the time they're ready to go to playoffs, you're going to see Kesselring and Guenther back down there in Tucson.
Bingo. Yeah, because it's great experience to compete in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
You want those guys going through that. And listen, Dylan Guenther's been through so many incredible experiences already that help grow him as a player. Let him embrace this one too. Let him play playoff hockey. The other side of this is we're going to have more Roadrunners content coming up soon. A bunch more in the month of February.
Yeah,
we're going to be down there in February. We're going to have stories. We need to give this team a little more love because they're turning in a hell of a season.
I agree. And Paul said, will we be covering them playoffs? The answer is yes. We're going to, will we be down in Tucson every playoff game? That's debatable. But, shit, Leah and I aren't at the Mullet for our home game, so it's the same. But yeah, we're going to keep you updated on everything going on in Tucson as they go into their playoff stretch. Absolutely.
I'll find out if, Desert Financial can just let me use the mansion down there during the postseason. Yeah, the helicopter would help too. So
the private helicopter to fly us down there. Oh my goodness. And by the way, last time we were in Tucson, the two players we had on the show, and this was like for a Roadrunner specific post game, Michael Carconi and Matthias Michelli. So I don't know. Just pay attention to who's on the show because
we set the agenda.
We're on a hot streak. We'll see.
That's a career bump. That's a big deal.
It really is. It really is. All right. Well, let's take a look at the punch card. This line is really depressing me. This is now the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th loss. There's only 2 in, 2 and 5, or 2, 4 and 1, I guess. Not a great line on this punch card. It's been a little bit of a tough stretch. Got to get at least 1, probably 2 more green checks on this line in the punch card.
Yeah, they're going to need the next 2 without a doubt. I agree with Petey. They have to win both these games at home. Otherwise, sayonara.
Yeah. They're going to have to, this is their need to get that Mullet magic back. And by that, I mean, they need to play with that pace and that it has to start at the drop of the puck. That's one of the biggest problems they had in their 1-4 stand at home last week is they didn't start well. They had bad first periods, and you see, they got to come out ready to play in that 1:00 game on a Saturday afternoon after travel is going to be really hard. But Nashville's not going to skate tomorrow either. And Nashville's not going to skate Saturday morning either. So at least it'll be somewhat even. That 1:00 game is going to be really tough, and they need to have a good start. They have to have that first 10 minutes. Keep your eye on them. Like they need to come out swinging in that first 10 minutes.
Petey or Craig, any final thoughts on this game before we wrap?
No, it was a good team. They played against a really good team, and there's a couple of things we didn't talk about. Conor Garland, who I thought was really effective tonight, but he was held off the score sheet, which was I thought he was going to be on it if I would have had a bet on my BetMGM Sportsbook app. It was good to see Rick Tocchet on TV again, and I'm really happy for him and his success, especially after a lot of critics here in Arizona when he left. Can't coach, not a good coach, and gosh, I don't know, man.
Crazy what happens when you have talent.
Fair. Yeah, I don't know if it's fair. I mean, even when you look at the 2020 playoffs that he went in, man, that team was undermanned. He didn't have a top line. And I think he's a good coach. I think he's a better coach than people give him credit for, and he's a better X's and O's guy. And you talk to Conor Garland and the people in Vancouver, and I'm really happy that he's having the success there in Vancouver. So I did want to say that about Rick Tocchet.
Just to answer A-Root's question before we move on, officially reassigned to Tucson to compete. I don't know about the actual. I don't know that there is a game threshold that you have had to play. I don't think there is. So they could conceivably send Logan Cooley down. I like the idea. I don't know if it's going to happen. I would love to see him compete in the playoffs with Dylan Guenther. Then again, he doesn't have any sort of chemistry with, but I think they would take Logan Cooley if they were to send him down for the AHL playoffs.
Yeah, it's a question we'll definitely have to ask when the team gets back and they have practices, because who is eligible to go back down? And you'd hope is Kolyachonok going to be available by playoffs?
He should be, yeah.
Yeah, and then for sure Guenther and Kesselring. I mean, that's at a bare minimum. So I'm excited about that. And I think you're right. And I know B said it earlier. If this team competes like that, I was thrilled with their compete tonight against a really, really good hockey team. I wish they would limit their turnovers in the defensive zone. They didn't lead to goals tonight, but that still makes them defend longer than they should. And they've got to find a way to get some offense. But it's a good effort against one of the best teams in the NHL.
Well, Vancouver's a great city. They have a good hockey team, but they don't have Four Peaks beer.
Nope.
That is something that we have here. It's to our advantage.
Best brewery in the valley.
And yeah, it's maybe not just even in the valley, like maybe one of the best in the country. It's so good. And I love that this little graphic has IPA, Kit Lifter, wow, all three of our favorites. Wow, Kit Lifter, IPA, just kidding. But whatever you like, Four Peaks has a beer for you, whether it's a lager, a stout, an IPA, a fruity one. They're so good. So check out
the
Four
oatmeal
Peaks.
Stout is underrated, by the way.
Yeah, you love the oatmeal stout. Yeah. So check out Four Peaks wherever you buy your beer. Stop by the 8th Street Pub and visit fourpeaks.com/locator to find all your favorite beers and events. You can check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub to keep up with the latest at Arizona's hometown brewery. Be sure to also check out the Bad Birdie Juicy Golden Ale, which is a collab between Four Peaks and Bad Birdie. Again, check out at Four Peaks Brew or at Four Peaks Pub. Must be 21 or older to drink Four Peaks, and please drink responsibly.
And while we're at it, let's talk about Empire Today, because Empire Today, they're easy, they're quick, and they're convenient. And I saw pictures today of a house that I looked at. This is a true story that I looked at a few months ago. We were moving into a one-story house, and it was $650,000. And we said, we'll probably not do this right now. Saw the pictures of it today. Somebody bought it, put in new flooring. It's on sale for the market, $900,000. That's what new flooring can do to your house. It can transform it to a whole new house. So now that I've said that, now you got to go to Empire Today, because it is quick and convenient. You don't have to go to the big box stores. You can do everything from home. They got the samples at home, the salespeople at home. They'll measure at home. You never have to leave your house to get new flooring from Empire Today. And they have things on every budget range. We talked about the real wood that we have in our studio, but they have laminates, they have carpeting, and they can cover you no matter what your budget, size of house, or your size of your project. It's Empire Today. Schedule a free. See, I'm going to get better, Empire Today. I know they're mad at me right now because I hesitated again. I want to be like, but I'm not on TV, really, like an ad pitch man.
Keeping it real, Petey. You're keeping it real. Okay.
Schedule a free in-home estimate today. It's free. The estimate, it's free. All listeners can receive up to $350 off when they use the promo code PHNX. Restrictions apply. See EmpireToday.com/PHNX for details. Sorry, Empire Today. I will continue to get better. I promise.
Yep, you will. Oh my goodness. All right. Well, last but not least, we want to see everybody out at the PHNX putting party on Wednesday, January 24th. It's going to be a blast. Basically an opportunity to watch the Phoenix Suns alongside the PHNX Suns crew, alongside other diehards. And did I mention unlimited beer and wine with a ticket?
Yeah, that's dangerous.
Under $40 for unlimited beer and wine.
It's a shame we got a game.
Yeah, we have a game, but we might maybe our game's early, so maybe we can make it in the end. Who knows? Yeah. Unlimited beer and wine. It's under $40. You get unlimited putting as well. Plus, we're giving away 2 amazing $150 speakers and Suns tickets. So why would you not attend this event?
It's a really cool spot too.
It's a really cool spot.
Yeah.
So, it's really cool. And it's, you know what? It's like a really cool sports bar in there too. Like that's why I'm sure they're watching the games on, but it's really cool. Like even if you're not putting, you can go there and I would go there dinner and in a sports bar and a beer for sure.
Well, you can click the links link in our show notes or visit gophnx.com to grab your tickets today. Again, if you're a diehard, you get 20% off all events. So diehards, check Discord, or if you're logged in as a diehard, you should be able to see the diehard discounted tickets right on the website. And if you're not a diehard, what a great perk to become one. Join our Discord. I've mentioned the Discord so many times tonight, but that's because it's so much fun in there, especially during games. We're always interacting in there. And obviously Craig has his twice a month diehard only pieces, including the prospect report coming tomorrow
morning.
So check that out in the morning, and grab yourself a free shirt or hat when you sign up to become a diehard. 20% off all merch after that too, phnxlocker.com. So check it out. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. Thanks for staying up late.
Darren. Darren's watching from Vancouver. Is Darren or Duran? What do you think?
I think it could be Darren.
He should tell us.
Yeah, tell us, Darren. But appreciate people
from Vancouver. That's really cool.
There's
from Arkansas, Alabama.
Did I see Vancouver?
Was somebody serious about
Florence is in
Puerto
Australia.
Rico before?
Florence is in Australia.
Florence is also
Florence is a true diehard.
CBA cap consultant, because she just told us the rules on Cooley playing in the AHL. So thanks for looking that up.
Oh my goodness. Well, we appreciate everybody tuning in. And if you're listening the next day, I don't blame you, but thanks for listening anyway, whether you're listening on audio, wherever you get your podcasts, or on YouTube. Be sure to hit the thumbs up on this video if you are watching on YouTube. And if you haven't ever listened on audio, I highly recommend checking it out, especially because we have an audio only episode that drops once a week. Petey and Craig sat down with Conor Garland earlier in the week. You should definitely go back and listen. It's a really good interview, so check that out. But also for YouTube, set a reminder, because we'll be live Friday at 2 p.m. for Friday Fun Day and some other Coyotes discussions. We'll chat with Lindsay Fry about skating for Leighton. So lots on deck for tomorrow. But we're going to wrap this up before midnight. How about that?
I like that.
We did
expect that, to be honest.
We really did it. And Petey, last but not least, happy birthday. From the bottom of my heart and Craig's heart too. I'll speak for both of us. We appreciate
Craig
you.
Has a heart. Appreciate you. Just kidding, Craig.
I love you. I'm already smarting from not being singled out as the co-host that Leah would pick. That was hilarious. First of all, who on earth would think that I can co-host anything? So it is pretty obvious what Leah was talking about. Like, I'm not a co-host. Okay,
no,
I'm not a host.
Oh boy.
That's funny.
Oh Lord! All right, happy birthday, Petey. We'll end
Petey.
it on that note.
We'll eat your cake for you tonight.
We'll eat your cake, and we'll try to save you some for tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for being here, everyone. Wish Petey a happy birthday. You have 20 minutes left at S Peters Hockey. You can follow Craig at Craig S Morgan. Follow me at Leah Merrill. Follow Danielle at Abraca Danielle. You can follow Raz, who is a Canucks fan and a traitor. No, but he's a great hockey coverage at Raz Devraj, right? Devraj, sorry. Got it. At Raz Devraj. And you can follow the show on Twitter at PHNX_Coyotes. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Have a good rest of your night.
We all silly like the mayor.